Let me make certain that that is muted. Okay, so this week we said we would have kind of recap last week, and I guess that's what we're
Chris,
going to do. Not recap, I'm sorry.
I am not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? Um, I don't know why. Is
See,
anyone else hearing me?
I can hear you.
I'm hearing you.
Sean, maybe you need to check your phone settings. I'm not sure. All right, so this week, and just let me know if it actually eventually came up. This week, we said we would have done a chat session just to hear how you are, see what's been on our mind, what's been pressing on us, and basically just chat. And before we do that, though, we just want to recap. Stanley, I'm putting you on the hot seat for maybe a few minutes to just recap. Last week we dealt with flat Earth, round Earth theories, and after the program, I was thinking of it, and I'm saying, okay, so we saw that platform, the square platform, because of the four corner, which of course, we got the Hebraic word and Hebraic meaning of that. So I'm sure that no one here still sees corners as representing a square, but extremities, as in the Hebrew. But I'm thinking of the four corners, and I'm saying, okay, if there's a dome, and I'm not sure if you will see what I'm saying, but if there's a dome, it means that there's a circle. It means that if you fit a square inside of it, there will be parts, four sides, in which you'd have like, it's not a semicircle, it's a kind of shape with a circle on one end and a flat line, a straight line on the other. And it would mean then that there would be a point at which you go to the end of the earth, and there's a void between the dome and the end of the earth. And I'm saying, okay, I've never seen anyone with pictures or experience to say that that was the situation. Welcome, Sabrina. So that was my takeaway as I thought of it after the program. I tend to do that, replay stuff in my head. So that was my thing. But if Stanley would do us the pleasure of just recapping in a couple minutes what we took away from last week.
Sure, no problem. Alaikum shalom, everybody. Good afternoon and pre-Sabbath time. Hope everybody has had a
Welcome,
very
Chris.
good week. Hey, Chris. And for those watching on the YouTube, hello, shalom to you as well. I don't know I don't know if you have anybody on the YouTube. I can't see the.
Oh, I didn't send you the login?
Mm-mm.
I texted to you last week or week before.
Sure. Let's see.
I think I texted to you.
Let's see. We'll check it right now.
Let me check myself.
Okay. I see it.
Sometimes I think I do something and it's not done. And I remember doing it, but I didn't actually do it.
I see it.
Did?
Yep, I got it. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy that how a message shows up. It showed me the pre-message for the last one Friday, but didn't show me this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got it. So yeah, I'll try to do that. But anyway, just to do a quick recap. Of course, it was.
Wait, hold for me, Sean. Are you hearing now? Sean?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Just as a quick recap, we delved into the flat earth debate that is now resprouting really, really heavy. Like I just see it so much. I don't know if anybody else has, what social media they have with friends, but I know in my timeline, it was like a new, like a whole new thing. Like people just flat earth. And then I think it all started from the basketball player, Kyrie Irving, and he delved into it and people started grasping it once again. So it just seems like, I know specifically on my timeline, it was this huge thing. But just as a recap, we looked at Isaiah 11:12, and in that particular scripture, it uses in the Koine Greek translations, they use the word gonia, which means corners. And so when people look at, Revelation 7:1. When people look at Revelation 7:1 and they see the word corners, they say, oh, it must be something in a box or square because of the Greek word used gonia. But we learned in research that the Hebrew word is kanaf, which means extremities. And so when something is at the edge of extremities, that means it has to pass beyond the extremities of the body. So above your head, outside the spectrum of your hands, below your feet. And so when we look at Revelation 7:1 and applying how that applies to angels, that means the angels would be inside of the dome with the blocking of the wind happening beyond their stretched hands, above the head and below the feet, which in essence creates a dome above the head and below the feet in itself. And that's what we did with my demonstration on the table, how it would be impossible that the angels are standing on the table because of the Hebrew word rakia, which is translated as firmament, and it has the kof. And in the word rakia, you have the kof, which is showing the back of the head. So you have resh, which is the front of the head, and then kof being the back of the head, which symbolizes the doming or separation of hemispheres. So with the kof being the pictograph being either a spindle thread or the circle with a line, it actually shows and exhibits separations of hemispheres, which again would mean that the angels standing at the perimeter, at the extremities, the line would have to pass through the midsection. So if you picture a square, it would be impossible for them to be standing above the horizon because it's not passing through the midsection. So it would have to pass across the middle, just as it shows in the letter Kof. And when we look under, we'll see what else we look. We looked at, Rakia being Resh, Kof, Yod, Ayin. It's the pictograph will be head of a man, needle head, reel of thread, the hand, and the eye. This translates to behold the hand that creates the circle for man, with the Kof representing to encircle or be in a circle. So again, with the word Rakia, the Most High is showing to man that the Hebrews would have understood that the earth is a circle, not a flat surface or a semi-dome. And this also connects with Genesis 1:26-31, which he gives kingship to Adam. And in that kingship, he would have been explaining what the earth would have looked like, because with the Rakia, the purpose is to experience this circle. And then we have certain scriptures where you look at Isaiah 66:1, where it says the Most High uses the earth as his footstool. Some people take that as a literal meaning. With that, if you believe that the earth is a footstool with a flat surface with legs underneath it, then that means you would have to believe heaven is a throne. So you can't take one part of the passage and take it literal, and then the other part of the same passage as symbolic. So it's either going to be all literal or it's all going to be symbolic or metaphor. So I don't even know. I don't even want to try to share my thing. I know it's pixelated at once, but if you look at the cough gives you the specific image of what the Most High would have been translating, or what he would have been trying to explain when he said he created the quote unquote firmament. And it's in that very letter we see and understand that the Most High explained the dimensions to Adam when he created it, because how else could Adam experience the earth if he didn't know how to move about it? If you don't know direction, how can I walk this earth? How would I know where I need to go looking at the stars if it's flat, those stars stay in one fixed place? And in my example, I showed that in a flat earth, there is no diagram and no model that can pretty much adjust for the sun setting. So, and if you have a flat earth, it's impossible for the sun to quote unquote set. It would be a constant, but everywhere it shines, it would never have a setting. So in that presentation, like I said, it opened up a lot for me, and understanding that, again, translation and transliteration is a really, really big problem when we try to study scripture. And if you don't understand or look at the words in their proper context, it throws everything off.
I think that we constantly learn. We know, but we constantly have to be substituting for. It's like we're in class and again substituting for when you're doing math. And
White Talk, can you share my screen? I have my document. Maybe it won't pixelate, just to show reference again.
Oh, let me do that.
I just want to share the letters.
How is your guys' week going so far?
Good so far. I think Yahuwah has been very great to me. And
That's good. Yes, very, very good.
I'm glad.
I'm always thankful for these.
That looks way better, Stanley.
It looks better? Yeah,
yes,
okay.
that looks very clear.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I put it in Word, so let me put
I'm seeing the Discord. Do you want to just minimize
that? Yeah. So this is the Word doc I kind of created to highlight a little bit, but this is the Kof. So we have Resh here, Kof. So front of the head of a person is the back of the head. So pretty much the Kof is in essence, this is the Resh with another back part. So just by this very symbol, you can see separation of hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Resh, Kof, Yod.
You're pixelating again.
Oh, it pixelated again? I don't even see it. What about now? Is it pixelated?
Yeah.
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 You just have to tell us because I can't see it.
Yeah. So let me stop sharing it, and it doesn't even.
Are you able to share it in the chat here?
I can do my Word doc, sure. Yeah.
Where we can pull it up and just go along with you, maybe?
Sure. Well, just a recap. It's the same presentation I did last week. So I mean, I did the PowerPoint. It's in the PowerPoint, but I was hoping that the Word doc would show better, but it isn't. Like I said,
okay. I missed clicking on the PowerPoint in the chat. So last week, sorry.
So I'll just
it again. So yeah.
Yeah, I just do my PowerPoint.
What I noticed though is that we have to be careful when we read the Bible, because we are taught that the Bible is written in Greek.
Right.
And yeah, the New Testament that is, but that's not true. The New Testament may have been transliterated to Greek, but it was never written in Greek.
Right. And so most of it is either it's going in Greek, in Aramaic. Right. And even when you look at Aramaic, everything in Aramaic does not translate properly into Hebrew. So so it creates a whole nother level of separation. But the blessing is we have the Old Testament, which is all Hebrew.
Right. And so we can go
all
back.
You have to do is comparative analysis. If one thing shows in one place, it has to show another.
Right.
So it's just how the cyclical nature of the Hebrew is. If it shows in the Old Testament, quote unquote Old Testament, it's going to show in the quote unquote New Testament. I don't even like using Old and New Testament, but
yeah, that was a Marcion concept.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It actually
I guess it was made to give us the idea that one is past.
Yeah, and
I
that was the
know.
primary intention,
Right.
and that's what's taught. And like I said, if that is the case, that means the Most High changes his mind. Like he's not what he does is set to expire, or something he creates isn't sufficient.
Hmm.
So it creates this place of doubt where maybe the Most High doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe what he did, he failed, and he had to do something else.
Right.
So it
Exactly.
doesn't.
So even the persons who promote that while still promoting Yah actually is actually contradicting themselves, and they're actually demoting him at the same
Yeah,
time.
you're perpetuating doubt in the Most High.
Yeah. So the words we look at in the time after the 400-year period of the Maccabees, the Maccabees,
Yeah, Maccabees.
let me just put it that way then. So after Malachi, there was a 400-year period. Then there's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
Mhm.
So in that period, in what they now call the New Testament period, that was written in Hebrew. In fact, I think they found the original manuscript, the Hebrew manuscript of the book of Luke.
Mm.
So, but this was tucked away in a Catholic
Oh yeah,
place.
and that's my belief. I believe that it's not destroyed; that it's somewhere.
They're not going to
And
destroy it.
no, yeah, there's no way you would destroy it, because the hubris of saying I have the Most High's word
Yeah.
here, I have it.
Or because they didn't fully understand it either.
That too.
So they can't throw it away because they are still trying to figure it out. But
Mhm.
notwithstanding is that spiritual things are spiritually discerned. So
Just takes
you
a little
could
bit
have
more.
it.
Just takes a little bit more effort, and that's what the seek his
Yeah.
face. If you put more effort into understanding that barrier, that
Yeah.
translation barrier, it's just like I work through it. I figured it out.
Mhm. So that's that for. So we promised a discussion on any topic you would choose this week. And so is there a question? Is
Well, I
there a
know.
question?
I'll pull up the Discord, and maybe we'll lead off with that.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's been answered, but I will pose the question that was asked.
I don't necessarily have a question, but a comment, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Mhm.
All are welcome.
So what I really enjoy and appreciate about exploring Torah is that all the teachings are heavily scripture based, and like there's no heaviness or like contention. It's just about scripture. And even the way Stanley presented last week, and a lot of times, and you have to forgive me, I'm muted because I have 3 small boys and it will get just really loud, but I always go back and replay so that way I can get the full of it. But just with everything going on, like Stanley was saying on his timeline, he gets like the flat earth stuff, and it's just a lot of things that are going on. People saying like the end of the world is coming like yesterday, and just like a lot of different things. It's just kind of, it's hard to, I just tune it all out, right? So just kind of having these studies is really, really helpful, especially for me being new to this walk and not feeling like, pointing fingers. I think Miles had said week before last, just saying, I want to focus on being Hebrew instead of just talking about it, so just being the light that Yah calls us to be. So I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for your
Amen.
support and your encouragement. I mean, we're new to this too in terms of walking.
Mhm.
I've embraced it mentally for years now, but I thought that I thought I could combine it with church.
Yep. Same. Yeah.
And
Yeah, we've
after
talked about it. We've talked about
yeah,
it.
after 24 years, I realized that wasn't gonna work.
Mhm.
So I just said, you know what? I have to focus on what Yahuwah called me to, because I cannot tell him that I was being a good church member.
Yep. And that's what me and Chris talked years ago. It's like you try to, it's that upbringing where you try to fit the truth into the box that man has created. And it's literally the square, the round hole square peg. It just won't work.
Yeah.
And the more you try to make it fit, the more frustrated you get. And then you start, it's almost like you feel hopeless in a sense where, like, why won't this square peg go in this round hole? They're both shapes. They're both shapes. It should fit. And so it's that toddler effect where you watch your toddler, watch your baby still try it until eventually you realize this isn't going to work. So now let me find the proper hole to put this, the proper shape to put this in.
Yeah.
And I know for me personally, I've been bracing it mentally for at least almost 8 years now. But for the last couple of years, maybe when we first start kicking off, I started embracing it from what? It's not to say that you have to separate or disfellowship from the institution you brought up in, because I do believe it's a place for fellowship, which we all know. I still do. I still do the food drives. I still do, as I said, I'm a adventurer counselor. So I'm still involved in the institution for the fellowship, but I no longer look at it as my source to provide me the truth, because I can search myself. That's what these instructions are for. We don't have to rely on a pastor or elder or somebody else. Again, just as we were discussing in the chat, it's written in our heart, meaning I have access to it to see it for myself, digest it, and then live it. I no longer need to see scripture through the institution that I'm a part of. So that's where we're along right with you, Aisha. We're still in our infancy as well when it comes to that, where you get overwhelmed, again, in this institution, thinking that you have to be 10 years and go to school for 20 years to study one chapter. It's really
right.
It's a lot simpler than that. It had to be simple for a child to get it back then. Because if not, that means they'd have been, they'd have been dying, not knowing half of the Tanakh. So, it's just that unlearning of the way you've been groomed to approach scripture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can I add to that? Because I agree. I think little background on me, I was raised Catholic in the church, and I think out of the religions, not to compare them, but it was very strict. So I would go to church all the time, and with my mom and my family. And I, like you said, I was raised from kindergarten to 6th grade in that. So to break off of the religion and realize it's a relationship over religion, like you said, yes, the church has fellowship and to bring us together and to relate and to share our connect over together. But I think at the same time, it's now even I got into my faith or my relationship with God over, I think 2 years ago, right when quarantine started. So I really couldn't go to the church, and it showed me though that he was building a relationship with me. And like I said, I'm a twin, I told you guys. And so I also realized too, is even though everyone told us when we were younger that we were the same person because we look the same, I have my own relationship with God. And I think that is so special because it's he has that purpose for me. And also when you read the word, he speaks through you and shows you different things that maybe the person next to you or your friend or your family member might not get. So we all have a purpose, and I think it's just, amen, so good.
And it's interesting you said that, Emily, that during this pandemic, it forced people to reconcile what they understood about the Bible themselves. You could not go to church. You could not go to a pastor, say, pastor, get up there because different denominations, and also we all think our denominations are strict, because I grew up in a denomination. Chris knows, especially depending on where you grow up at, it's Ellen G. White said, Ellen G. White said, you better not do this, Ellen G. White said. And you're yo, who is this lady? Why? Why can I not? So it's that constant, no matter what denomination you're part of, is what you can't do. You bet not. You bet not. It's this, you bet not. You can't clap. You can't. I remember one time in our church, it was a big discussion of drums or what type of drum and had to be made. It's like, it's the most ridiculous stuff. Could you like how loud you can be? It's clapping. Like I remember telling the joke, like it's like it's stern and it's like this, and people are like, it's. And then I've gone to Kojic churches. I've gone to holy, or it's opposite. I've gone to holy church where they're like athletes. Like as soon as all the pastors say is Jesus is great, and next thing you know, it's I mean, it's takeoff time. They hitting corners, running, backflips. It's almost like a gymnastic meet. So it's going to different churches. You see how, quote unquote, how tight it can be versus how relaxed it can be. But in with that, this pandemic, as predicted through the 400 years, the prophecy, the 400-year prophecy said, starting from 1619, 2019, it forced a globally, not just in one location, the world had to get out of the institution and then reconcile scripture for themselves. And that's why so many of these institutions and churches were pushing, I need to get my members back because they're starting to read on their own. That's why so many pastors getting on TV saying, and this is global. Again, it wasn't just America. It was all over the place. All these different pastors and temple heads, Jewish, it don't matter what you were. They were like, we got to get these people back in because they're starting to learn some stuff and they're asking questions that I don't want to answer.
Ooh, yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Sorry. Well, another thing that I thought was crazy, I forgot the pastor. He's one of the well-known pastors, but he said something that was very kind of ironic. And he would say, we have all these this when the pandemic hit, and then everybody started getting to the awakening. A lot of people that I was talking to, whether at work or friends at a church I used to go to, and they started to read the same thing you were saying, Stanley, is that everybody starts to read because they're trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Nobody, and the pastor was saying, we have all these prophets and these prophetess, and nobody could predict this was going on. Everybody would look for us for insight on what's going on, and we weren't able to tell them. So it made him look like, of course, a false prophet.
But you know what?
So, it's in the word, and that's the crazy. It's in the word.
You know what, the Bible said that, and after 400 years, they shall come out with great substance.
Yep. It literally says that.
It literally says that.
But look, but the crazy part, we teach it as if the falling away, it was a bad thing. They say, the falling away from the church was a bad thing. No, it says great substance.
Yeah, and when you start doing it and you start questioning those things, and then people start looking at you weird, like you're falling away from God. It's like, not really, not when I start learning the stuff that you're supposed to learn. And again, you know what I'm saying, like you said, the fellowship is great. I do miss that a little bit, but at the same time, it's like the things you start learning, it's like some things don't line up, with what scripture says.
Even if you wanted to fellowship, you couldn't.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Even part of me that wants to go back, it's like certain things now. I'm like, even though I miss it, I'm like, I can't go back because then in my mind, I'm going like, nope, that's not it. That's not it. I'm gonna be questioning a lot of stuff now.
What I'm saying is that even if you wanted to, the lockdowns, I mean, in Jamaica right now, the churches are getting some leverages, and here's why: the people are resisting the jab. So they are using church leaders to influence the people.
Yep, I've been seeing that.
Which is not new though, because churches are always used to influence the mass.
Yep.
And so, but in the height of it, even if you wanted the fellowship, you couldn't because everywhere was locked down.
Right.
And you're restricted from fellowship. Do you ever notice that? It doesn't say physical distancing, but social distancing.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
Okay. Notice how angry people are these days. Notice how easy it is for persons to turn against each other based on what they believe of what is happening. And in all that, notice that the truth is steadily going through. 2019, 2018, ending of 2018, 2019, thereabout. It came through the office of the president. It was Donald Trump at that time. That 2019 would be the 400th year. So guess what? Even if you didn't know and you weren't religious, and you didn't read the Bible, you would have heard something.
Yeah, I remember there was like a big whole thing about it, and that's what also made me start reading more too. And I started reading certain scriptures, and it kept mentioning the 400 years. I read it in Genesis, and then I think I read it somewhere else. I can't remember. But then I started hearing it so much on social media. I'm like, okay, well, let me go see what's going on. That's when I started learning a whole bunch of other things. So it definitely has sparked a lot of people's interest as far as this pandemic.
Yeah, and if you read Numbers 24:24, the Bible speaks of it lines upon line, precept upon precept, you're gonna realize that there are certain things that would have happened at the end of the 400 years or after the 400 years. And when you look around you, right at the 400 years, the entire world is in a turmoil. Granted, it is not Yahuwah that is doing this. Men are doing it, but when you read Matthew 24, you realize from 1 to 15 thereabout, it would be the things that men do. So yes, it's written there. The problem that churches have and different religious groups is that if you're interpreting scripture and you're not interpreting scripture in the context of Yahuwah's people, Hebrews or Israelites, and those who are a part of that or join with us, then you're bound to get it wrong. What people have is a general picture. There will be a mark of the beast and they get that wrong too. There'll be perilous times. Anybody can tell you that. Even stock market people can tell you that. But the specifics of why it is happening, what is happening, you'll never hear it from them because they cannot interpret scripture outside of the realm of Yahuwah, his people, and salvation. That's it. That's what the Bible is about, actually. It's about Yahuwah, his elect, salvation. And if you were here when we did the process of salvation, it's this. He chose a people to live the message so that the rest of the world could see. Through those people, he would send Hamashiach to redeem those people first, and by that, redeem the world. That's the process of salvation. And that is why the Bible says that the gospel is the good news. The gospel of Christ is the power of God unto salvation. It's the power of God to redeem those who were thought irredeemable. Because the idea is that they sinned, there's no way to redeem them. And Yah says, think again. I've already had that plan. So we're in the turmoil now, and it is being created. It's being incubated. I was talking to one of my politician friends. I won't name names. And he was pushing the whole vac thing, and I'm saying, look, while you're doing that, why not push nutrition, health, healthy living? And we had a kind of debate about it, and I said to him, I said, look, this thing, any ailment that see the conditions that this one sees can give you the numbers that you're getting now. Because one, doctors are not allowed to treat you with anything. So and on that note, let me just pause here to recognize Ruth Lynn. Her mom has passed away.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Oh no.
yeah, this past week, and she was on the ventilator, not ventilator, oxygen for like 2 weeks. And that's the thing. So we send up our prayers for her. and our support to her.
Is she planning on going back home?
She's going to Jamaica. I'm not sure what I don't remember because she said it.
Okay.
But yeah, she's going to Jamaica sometime very soon. I
Okay.
think it's this week. So she would have gone last week, but because she was working out time off from work, because you know how that works. So I think that is cleared now. So I think she's working on some other logistics and she's gonna just go. So please pray for her and family as she navigate this turbulent times. So
if there's anything we could do to support Ruthlyn, maybe you all can send an email or put it in the chat, because I know how costly that is to travel and then to be off of work.
I pass the word along to her.
Okay.
And she'll appreciate, and we say thank you to her for us also. Okay, so we're gonna share a Cash App with you at the end, and it's just if you want to, because if you notice I never speak money.
No, I understand. It just came like immediately to my
I
mind.
understand and we do appreciate it. I'm just saying to you, when I share the Cash App, I don't want other persons seeing it and
right.
We're soliciting.
Okay.
We do support each other as much as we can. Even here, if I'm willing all the time to support, but we just don't want it to get the stigma, you know, those kind of stigma that is in.
Oh no, I know.
Sowing seeds and all of that stuff. So, but the situation that occurred and is occurring is that doctors are not allowed to treat you with anything. So you contract a virus, and if your body is not strong and you become critical, you go to the hospital and you're put on a ventilator or oxygen and you're left like that. The first thing that happens is that you're away from sunlight, which you need. We know that people get sick in the wintertime because of less sunlight.
And also
So just imagine being sick and being cut off from sunlight.
Absolutely.
What that is going to do. The second thing, you're not able to see family. So you know what depression does again. Depression weakens your immune system. So given that condition, it is being incubated in the public space. So you will see high death rate. You will see that. So I said to him, why not promote and allow doctors to treat, to use their training, their skill too. Of course, that was when the discussion ended. He didn't respond, which I had expected, because once you get to treatment, there's a problem. Just like chloroquine in US, they're talking about ivermectin in Jamaica, and then all that is being blocked forever because you're not supposed to be treated. Obviously, someone wants the numbers to rise. So,
when my dad was treated the same way. He went on the ventilator. He was on a ventilator and then got moved to another hospital where he was pretty much on the ventilator the whole time. And they claimed that when they took him off, he would do okay a little bit, then it would get worse. So they had to put him back on, and then eventually he had to be put on like a low level dialysis because his kidneys and things were failing. But literally, I think the day of his passing that morning, I was going to ask the doctor about trying some different treatments, because typically we know most modern doctors, they don't know anything about herbal treatments or things of that sort that actually help the patient. But it never got to the point where I could ask.
When you look at the institution of medicine, it's more so to get you to cope with your issue than to cure your issue.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, it's about money, and you need to create a repeat customer. The way you create a repeat customer is by giving them medicine to cope with it. So one medicine leads to another medicine. It's a circular thing. Now, it's not to say that medicine and procedure and science is not beneficial, but when it's not coupled with the other end of the spectrum, which is natural remedies and things like that are free, that's when you have these issues. And so, like you said, and which I agree, like I'm not that person on the spectrum that believes it does not exist. That's insane to believe it doesn't
Does
exist.
exist, yeah.
However, within that spectrum, if I'm going to treat you with a vaccine or whatever you want to get me through this science, also add that in congruence with natural remedies, such as Chris said, sunlight, healthy diet, actually restraint in eating, adding more fiber, getting the waste out of your body, cleaning yourself, because we see that again in scripture where was it the very quarantine measures were taken from Genesis when they were, or Exodus when they were walking around. He said separate from 14 days. We can literally take scripture and apply cleanliness or clean habits, immersing yourself, washing, how to wash and how to get enough sunlight, how to eat clean meats. Most High gave us, hey, eat this. You can eat all these things I'm telling you to eat, but then avoid eating this. Science shows the reason not to eat this stuff. So it's just literally taking scripture and just applying it, moderation, and today we eat way more than what the standards say we should eat. The food nowadays has a whole lot more processing and less fiber. So it's about creating habits. And that's what we were also talking about, chat, is that when the Most High wrote his word in our heart, it wasn't saying that something got done away with. It's restoring what was already written and saying, hey, these are the things that I've given you to create a habit or behavior that is good, instead of just creating one-offs. Let me create a pattern of habit, because of course, the more you do something over and over, it creates habit. So I give you these instructions to make you live better, have a healthier life, to be able to connect with me better. So sure, take these medicines, but also change behaviors, add more healthier foods, add exercise, etc.
And that's exactly what happened with him. Is when they put him on one medicine, it was like, well, we put him on this one medicine, then we have to put him on this one because this medicine activated or decreased this thing in his body, so we had to put him on this. And then next he's on 4 different medications just because of one medicine that messed something up.
Yeah, one medicine stops this, but then you got to take because it's going to make you dizzy. Then you got to take another medicine because this dizzy going to stop you, but yet the medicine that stopped the dizziness is going to make you have body aches.
One drop missed his one elevated his blood pressure. Then they had to take another one because that had to fix the blood pressure, but then that one messed with the oxygen in his body, and it's like,
and all of it messes up your kidneys.
Yeah, his kidney started failing. His lungs was already bad, but then his kidney started failing. So then we had to put him on dialysis.
Yeah, because the kidneys have to filter all that stuff through. That's what the purpose of the kidney is.
So you never had a kidney problem before?
No, he had pneumonia. He's had pneumonia. He had pneumonia a lot. From I guess since he was a child, he had pneumonia before he caught COVID. He just would not take his butt to go get seen by a doctor. His mom would fuss him out about it. And so once he got COVID, he caught that on top of pneumonia. By then, his lungs was like really scarred up, because I remember talking to him back in November, and he was coughing a lot. And I told him the same thing: you need to go get seen. And so by the time he got COVID and got to the hospital, and they showed us a picture of his lungs was pretty scarred up. And then later on, he started building fluid in his kidneys, and they would try to flush it out, but it kept building up a little bit. So that's what ended up happening.
And what we need to do, guys, is to start staying away from the food that creates mucus in our body.
Yes.
The cheese, the milk, fried food,
Yeah.
and the starchy stuff also. We need to start to stay away from them so that this virus doesn't have anywhere to live with us. So we give our bodies a fighting chance. Because we are not saying it's not real.
Yeah.
It is real.
Very.
Definitely real.
Yeah, the other day I was cooking and I tried to meal prep because I'm in school. So I don't want to be in the habit where I'm like, oh, I have nothing to eat. But really I'm like, okay, I got to set time aside to cook. So I made sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts is my favorite. And I just season it and bake it. But it's just that simple. And then you go to the grocery store, it's something per pound, but then you go out to eat and it's already $15.
Yeah.
So it's the simplest thing that he gives us, vegetables, fruit are what sustain us and keep us going. But then when you go out, you have to pay more for stuff that's processed. Like, why?
Crazy.
Exactly, Emily.
That's what even crazier is. I actually just bought what is it, Smucker's strawberry jam, and if you look at how they do it, it's very slick. Of course, the naturals, they have two different kinds. They have a processed kind that's heavily high fructose corn syrup and stuff in it. And then I'm like, I know they have a natural. Then it just so happened they had an all natural one that had 10 times less products in it. I'm like, then why don't y'all just sell the natural product?
Money.
Y'all
It's
got
a whole lot.
a natural product line, just sell it.
It's about that money, man.
Yeah. And that's how they get you. Like, and so I don't eat a lot of heavily processed stuff. Every so often I get a craving for stuff, but for the most part, I do now is fruit smoothies. And my family picks on me because they say you're starving yourself. But drinking those pretty much in the morning or at lunch, I don't have to eat. Pretty much what everybody does is 3 times a day. By doing that, you can pretty much sustain yourself all
You
day.
really shouldn't eat 3 times a day either, because that's a problem. What I started doing a few weeks ago is stop eating. Like when I eat 6:30 in the evening, I'm not eating again until tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is like intermittent fasting.
Right. Right.
And
So
it flushes.
It's a
your
blessing.
body doesn't heal when you're digesting.
Exactly.
Your body only heals when you're sleeping also. So if you're sleeping and digesting, it means you're not being healed.
Right.
So if you eat late, you're going to wake up tired and not sure if you're hungry or not, because you're eating too late. What I did, I was doing some green juice 2 days ago, and you may think green juice, grass, it sounds, but trust me, that tastes so delicious. Eben and Eli loves it. And I went to the garden. I put callaloo with the seeds. You know callaloo? It's like collard.
Yes, I know callaloo. My parents are from Trinidad.
Right. It has ton more nutrients
Yeah.
than collard. If you read up the specs on it, you'll be surprised to see what is in it.
Can we see your garden one day?
Huh?
Can we see your garden one day?
I'm gonna take a picture of it the next I'll show it to you.
Okay.
So it's a mess though. Everything is all over, but guess what? I can reach them.
Okay.
So I'm blending moringa. I got moringa from Jamaica, so I'm trying to grow it. Having a hard time doing that, and I know when the winter comes, it's gonna kill it.
It's the soil. It's
And
the
moringa
soil.
has a ton of nutrients also. I do moringa, pumpkin leaf. So I go outside and pick the pumpkin leaf, wash it, blend it with everything. Cabbage, lettuce, kiwi. I don't remember what it is.
Have you tried soursop? Soursop and sea moss.
I don't have any sea moss. That's the problem. In Jamaica, we used to have soursop everywhere. And then when I blend this, I don't use water. I use like coconut water, like natural coconut water, because you know that is high in energy. It's like
I have to try that.
Me too.
And I can tell you something. For the next day I was just working. Because believe me, it gives you so much energy. The first time I got that, I went to Jamaica and my brother blend up a green smoothie. But what he did, he put the blossoms of the moringa in it. And we had mango and stuff. And use the coconut water. You know we have jelly in Jamaica. So right off the tree. So when he did it, I drank it. We were there talking. So I went home and I was just working. And I had to be stopping myself because I was building at that time. And I'm saying, why am I not feeling sleepy? Until I remembered.
The juice.
But if that does that to your body, can you imagine what it does to fight virus? So I'm saying, thyme, and I see Ariana Nicole posted it in YouTube. Thyme, THYME, is highly antiviral, antifungal.
Yep, ginger.
These are things we need to like boil heavily.
Turmeric, yep.
Turmeric, right.
Yep. So I do
Yeah.
I do turmeric, ginger, sea moss, and lion's mane.
And tomato is good too, including the
Yes.
leaves.
Yep, tomato.
I need to take some notes.
Yep. Ginger, turmeric. Yeah, ginger, turmeric, sea moss, and lion's mane.
Where can I get a real sea moss? Because some people
I got mine from Fruits and Roots. I have to I could post it in the chat, but I got mine from Fruits and Roots.
you can order it.
Yeah, you can order it. I ordered mine. I think it's like, I want to say mine was $50 for a 4 ounces, but it's a good amount. And I think
Yeah.
it's 60
But
or
it's
70.
light. It's
Say it
light,
again?
so 4 ounces gives you a lot.
Yeah, it's like, it's definitely a strong smell to it. That was my first time doing it, and I still have some, but you have to like.
I can't get past the taste. The sea moss gel. I bought it for some people. I've tried it, and it's just me. It's that slimy. I can't do it. I have to do the natural.
You can add the sea moss to like a smoothie or something else.
I've tried it, and I
You
can
tried really, and
I've
you're
tried
boiling it out, like where you take the. I don't know. Maybe because I just grew up on it, I just probably just have.
You have a natural. I try to do it like because I love yogurt, so that's the way I try to get my yogurt in. So I did yogurt, strawberry, and then put sea moss, and it's still like, I can't.
From what I learned is because I that was my first time doing it. So after I soak mine when I learned bread, you have to soak it for 24 hours. Once you do that, then you can take it out, and you actually take some of the water from the actual sea moss, pour it in, but it has a strong, of course, sea smell and taste to it. So what I did was I mixed it with banana, pineapple, and pretty much four containers of strawberries, 4 small containers of strawberries, and it takes the smell and slightly taste of whatever you mix it with. So I would say it's anything sweet like strawberries, pineapple.
Yes, I did. I did the strawberry. I did yogurt, and I mixed it together, and it just still cut through it. I was like, I can't.
So, Brother Chris, I'm in Atlanta, and I don't know if wherever you are, if there's an H Mart. It's an Asian market, but they have sea moss there.
I'm gonna.
I have friends who sell it.
Okay.
I'll matter of fact, I got a good friend. I'm in North Carolina, so I have a good friend that sells it wholesale. And,
in Jamaica, they used to ride around on the bike, because in Jamaica everything was normally natural before now, sadly. And they used to ride around on the bike with either it in the bag or already mixed in a bottle, and that thing could never pass my throat. But guess what? I'm gonna do it though, because I've not had it since I'm here. But it just could never pass my throat. When it goes in my mouth, it just feels too mushy.
I would never eat it, drink it by itself. Knowing what I know now with it, I just have to mix it with something because it has a strong smell to it that I cannot get past a little bit.
Yeah,
Have you guys tried using lime or lemon after you blended it?
I have
put
not.
lime in mine.
Yeah.
I
put it in my smoothies.
It's a little tart, hit you get you underneath the throat.
Have you guys tried black maca powder?
No, I haven't. I've heard about it. I haven't did maca powder.
Never heard of it.
That one's pretty good.
And the funny thing, taste is not my problem. I just can't eat anything that feels too mushy. Because I love bitter things.
I'm just saying, I don't like really ripe bananas. That's just.
And when I do my smoothies, I can't stand the texture of you'll have the fruit peelings and the skin of the fruit. I actually drain everything out in like a fine strainer.
You need to get a powerful blender.
Yeah, that too.
Because my blender, I can't even run it while everyone is asleep. Seriously. But everything goes. It has a dry jar and a wet jar.
Okay.
If you want to blend like seeds to powder, it does it. And if you want to blend,
you got good blades. Yeah, you got a good one.
Yeah, it has a gear at the bottom, much like a car gear, where the jug sits over. It's not one of those regular plastic things. It's metal.
Right.
So when you press go, everything goes.
Okay. I'm gonna have
So you need to get something strong, yeah, that will do that for you. But we need to start doing that. And I read once, because I used to follow Gershom Institute, where they use natural remedies to cure cancer. They had to set up in Mexico because they couldn't do it here.
I actually found an article that talks about the alkaline diet.
Yes.
And it basically talks about like how acidosis is like the root of a lot of different diseases. Because even when I was younger, have asthma. And so when I would get sick, my dad wouldn't let me eat dairy because it would just like create this great space for mucus to accumulate and it would make it worse. So I can like attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
And sea moss and soursop, from what I've read and heard, are two great properties for curing cancer.
Yeah, that's why I have to do peel. I can't do the gel. It's too much. And Chris, I sent you the everybody, my friend's link. He has dried sea moss, $20 for 8 ounces. So if you spending 50, you can get he got 16 ounces for 30.
I'll do that.
So yeah, check his website out. I buy all my peels. Like I buy the sea moss peels. His stuff is organic because obviously that taste I can't get with it. It's just something. As soon as it hit my mouth, I could just feel it, and it just.
They actually also have the soursop in tea form. That's pretty good. That I've tried.
I'm not a big fan of teas. I do green teas, but I think some of those have high sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love teas. Well, Jamaican form.
Wait, what were you saying about the alkaline diet? Is that like what is like good to get good energy? It's
good overall to fight any kind of sickness. When your body is alkaline or less acidic, it fights for itself. You're more healthy because you're supposed to be alkaline. Acids are what destroys your immune system. So you keep away from acidic foods, with the exception of lime and lemon. Your body converts that acid to alkaline.
Right.
Oh, cool.
Because by default, your body is mostly naturally alkaline. So the better your alkaline level, well, the higher your alkaline level, not too high. You don't want to get too high. But so what happens with the stuff we eat, the body has to work to turn acidic stuff alkaline. So the more natural alkaline stuff you put in your body, the less your body has to work to convert it.
Oh, cool.
So eating, again, it goes back to scripture. When the Most High says eat these certain foods, it's less work to turn these things and convert. The body has to use energy to churn. Yeah, the dietary laws. Or let me say the restrictions. He said, rather, I like to say. But it's for a reason. It's less work the body has to do to convert it to energy.
Yeah, I read that, and then and it kind of hit me in the heart a little bit. And I was reading it, and I was like, okay, I've heard about it. And when I found the scripture in Leviticus, and I was reading, I was like, okay, so what is this? What is this? Because he, I guess, speaks in not just parables, but in a way that you'll understand it more. That's what I found out about certain seafoods that you can eat and can't eat. And so then
scales. So if it comes from the sea, it has to have scales. Anything that does not have scales, you're not supposed to eat.
Fins and scales, yeah.
Not fins and scales.
I eat shrimp, and I was like, oh man. And I was like, okay.
You're literally eating the roaches of the sea.
Dang it, I just bought a bag of shrimp.
Yeah, they're the roaches of the sea.
But then you realize there's a reason why is that way. Because of the things that they eat. And
it's not necessarily so the science, again, this is where scripture and science agree, or the science affirms scripture. The reason something is considered unclean is not what it eats, because a goat eats the same things a pig eats. What the science or the truth about it is how it digests its food. So for instance, when he says the meat that you eat is the animals that ruminate, that means I like to think of it as like a wash and dry of the stomach. So when a cow eats its food, it eats, goes in one stomach, regurgitates it, and it comes and it like rinses it clean. So that way the food that it eats does not go into the bloodstream. So the same thing with a goat. A goat eat everything. Chickens eat everything. But the way their stomachs operate is where whatever it digests does not go to the bloodstream. So with shrimp, you literally see the poop or the waste touching the flesh. And so you're eating, even if they quote unquote called devein it, the waste has sat on the flesh. So you're still eating the contamination of that waste was on the flesh. Same for lobster. They call it the dead man. You eat, you rip off the legs, but that whole center part, that's where all the toxin is. Well, even if you rip off the leg, the flesh has been connected to the very things you're not supposed to eat, the toxin.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the King James version, or I think the one out the Bible I got, it mentions like chewing the cud.
So the science is ruminate. Chew the cud means ruminate. So on the flip side, a rabbit ruminates, right? But the way the rabbit's stomach digests, the waste still touches, or the contamination still goes into its flesh. So it has to chew the cud or ruminate and have a split hoof. So like I said, rabbits ruminate, but they don't have a split hoof.
I just posted a link in the chat. Everyone, if you can copy that and go watch it. It's this guy is awesome when it comes to herbal treatments.
Okay.
And he's like the next Dr. Sebi.
Go ahead.
And the good thing about him, he's not all about money.
Cool.
That's always a good thing too.
He gives away a whole lot of free lectures. And you'll see him use words here that he doesn't want to tell you exactly what he's saying because of the censorship.
Big pharma.
But you know what he's treating when you watch his video.
Right.
I've watched you posted a video before, I think in the Discord, and I started watching it. So thank you.
Yeah. You know how long I was trying to figure out. I was trying every way I recorded it, I did everything because it was Facebook. I didn't realize he had a YouTube channel. And when I finished recording it twice and it was too big for the Discord, I looked and I saw the YouTube link and I said, seriously, Chris? After a day and a half? But the best thing we can do is promote health among ourselves, because you're never going to get to do it on a wide scale again.
Right.
Yeah, and also I'm reading an article on the alkaline diet, and it says some warning signs that you have dangerously high levels of acidity are, well, they're not really it's very broad, but obviously low energy, acne, brain fog, anxiety or depression, muscle weakness, and then digestive issues such as bloating too.
That's when you're acidic, when your body has too much acid. Right, because you're alkaline, and you know the funny thing, if we stick to plant-based diet mostly, these problems we wouldn't even realize, because most of this autoimmune disease that we have now comes from eating and manufacturing, which they're manufacturing what we're eating, so that's basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that, my bad. So there's another article that it's not an article. It's a 411 from the USDA from the 1930s, basically backing the alkaline diet, saying how it's better for people and how if people in the US would kind of abide by these guidelines, a lot of the issues a lot of the health issues would be decreased, essentially. So I thought it was interesting that the USDA was
But notice how far back it was when they pushed it.
Yeah.
Notice that it was so long ago, and that information usually gets buried, and yet they push. It's okay to eat XYZ. It's okay to drink milk. We know the science behind milk. It is not even, and also to get clear, it's not necessarily milk, because again, we in the motherland in different countries, they drink milk straight from the animals. It's the processing that's the problem. And so here in America, the FDA allows like 1,000. It's the pus and blood. It allows like 1,000.
You are getting 2% milk and 1% milk.
Yes, but
everything else is something else.
Yes, so in pretty much in all the milks, it allows a certain level of pus and blood per milliliter. And so, but it's like 1,000 something in America, but in other countries only like 10. So here we are, the country that has this quote unquote higher level institution that's supposed to regulate, but they allow like times over the amount of pus and blood and milk. Then
and you're not supposed to drink blood.
And you're not supposed to. and so think about it, when you're drinking blood and pus, that you're creating this foreign entity in your body. All this foreign stuff is inflammation, all these different things. So it's not even necessarily the milk, it's the stuff they put in the milk. They put bleach that makes it that pure white milk, not
sugar in it.
Sugar in it. So it's all this extra stuff that makes the quote unquote the milk that we drink bad. It's not necessarily milk, because like I said, and when you look at Africa, they go right to the animals and heat it up, get the bad microbes out at it, and then drink it.
That's crazy. Processing. And the FDA approves, and I think I had a discussion with somebody about that. It was like, well, this and this is FDA approved. I said the FDA approves a lot of stuff they don't need to approve. So that it doesn't really mean anything, because they approve so many chemicals and stuff in foods and drinks that, for one, like I mentioned it before, high fructose corn syrup is the worst. I have a list of things.
It is the worst. It is terrible.
I had this whole list of stuff. They were like, what is all this? I said, this is stuff that is included in many foods. They was like, that's too much. They were like, you're crazy for just going by. I said, no, I look at these ingredients when I pick up most stuff. And I looked at like how many drinks had high fructose corn syrup. I picked up a thing of
Sunny. It's in everything.
Yeah, and I was like, I used to drink this stuff all the time. And I looked at it. The first ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. I was like, you mean to tell me I've been drinking this all the time since I was a kid? And people were like, well, it's not. I've been drinking it all the time, and I'm fine. You're fine now till you hit about 70 or 80, and then you're gonna be going to the doctor, and they're gonna be prescribing you, saying a lot of stuff. So it's a lot of stuff that they approve that doesn't need to be ingested.
Yeah, high fructose corn syrup is in everything, virtually everything.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with go ahead, Stanley.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying virtually it's in everything, and coupling the extra processing minus the fiber. So again, it's not that, because we have to. The reality is everybody can't go to Whole Foods and spend $400 for 2 bags. You know what I mean? Like, depending on where you're at, there's people who live in food deserts. There's people who don't have access to the upper, quote unquote, upper echelon of food, right? And so the reality is not everybody has that type of income to be able to purchase this type of food. However, you can add more vegetables instead of adding more and reduce the processing. So instead of getting that Hawaiian punch, go, get some gallons of water. Like, you might not be able to get, what is it? The 100% organic stuff that's $5 for 8 ounces, but you can add more water.
That's actually what I get.
You can get more fruits.
You know what though, Stanley? What I'm learning, even for dandelion, I used to mow that down and just toss it.
Yeah, you can. Dandelion. Yeah, I just read that article too.
I just learned that on TikTok. Somebody did it. It was a gardener, and he was like, "You can actually pick these up, boil them down, and drink it." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yep.
Yeah, dandelion tea is like $4.99.
But it's in my front yard.
It's in the front yard.
That's what I'm saying. So some of these, but guess what? Because we've been so trained to be fed by someone else or an institution, it's like we will pass the thing in its natural state and go and buy the processed one.
Wow.
And everything, if we know what I use to mark stuff, any plant you see that is very resilient and grows under any condition normally has a whole lot of nutrients.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it, I'm not saying it must be able to eat, because the earth uses all the nutrients that we need also, because we're made of the earth.
Mhm.
But just notice the most resilient plants that grows anywhere are normally like superfoods.
Yeah.
Or the superfoods are normally food that can just grow.
Yeah.
Because it is able to survive, and because our bodies need that natural plant food, it is that same element out of that plant that goes in our body and re-energizes us. But if we cook it to death, then
Right.
then
You
again,
overcook it, right?
yeah, it's
But
gone.
even there's medicinal properties of clay, like for low iron. Instead of going and buying all this stuff, you can go literally. They sell, like I've seen this new product. It's they actually people are selling mud, like they're actually going buying dirt and selling it, where you can literally go to clay and do like look up the way to harvest it the right way or be able to use it the right way. So yeah, you can use clay for iron deficiency.
I had a friend when we were younger. She was
Not
pregnant.
clay, but yeah, is it clay?
Yeah, clay. She
Clay,
was
yeah.
older than I am, but while she was pregnant, she would just come down because
Yep, mud
it
water.
was a hillside and you could break the clay off the hillside. And she would just break chunks of it and just eat it. And I'm saying, are you sick? Not even knowing.
Nope, she getting her iron up.
Maybe I
Yeah,
was.
they have I read I don't know who commented it, but I thought the same thing. They have mud water. It's
Yep,
made
mud water.
from
Yeah,
I think like mushrooms. Certain
I
type
thought it
of
was dirt.
mushrooms.
I thought they said it's from dirt. Like they're actually selling dirt and they're drinking dirt. Like there's
Oh,
that's why it's called mud water. It's actually type
yeah.
of mud.
I wonder where they bought it though.
And it's not cheap. Like they selling pouches. I'm looking it up. It's like $60 and
I know that
$120.
thing could have
Wow.
been imported, right? You know that could be imported
I don't know if
because they couldn't dig any dirt from where I live to sell anybody because
it's nah.
you wouldn't
know,
grow anything without help.
there's another thing that they use, charcoal.
Charcoal.
They use that a lot now in things like toothpaste, even I think I want to say body washes and stuff like that. But when they do it, because I've learned about fluoride in toothpaste,
Yeah, we don't use fluoride in our house at all.
and I learned that what that does to like your brain things. And so I think I went to Sam's Club.
Especially to black people.
And I found they have I want to say it's bees toothpaste. It's charcoal, but they don't have any of the chemicals that they use in normal toothpaste.
Yeah, and even I use a toothpaste that's natural because I forget what it's called, but the creator said that like toothpaste that have that fluoride and the icky stuff, it gets rid of the healthy bacteria in your mouth. So it's not good because you need that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it hardens your pineal gland.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yep.
Charcoal is like a super thing.
It grabs germs.
When I maybe 20 years ago I was in Jamaica, we were going on a trip. When I got there, I was all nauseous, out of it. And a friend of mine, he gave me a little cup and put like 3 spoons of charcoal in it. Mix it and tell me to drink it. Of course, I didn't want to drink it, but I drink it. Within 30 minutes, I was playing soccer.
Oh wow!
I kid you not.
Wow.
And it was activated charcoal. From then, I've never left it out.
That's good
I
to know.
know it works. My daughter, when we went to Jamaica in 2019, she's like a magnet for mosquitoes. It's like
She
anywhere
must
she
got good blood.
and
She must have high iron in her blood.
so much that she got sick. And I went and bought a small stuff of activated charcoal and I mixed it and gave it to her, and that was it. Because what it does, and on the label it says, this was produced in Jamaica also. It says, if you're taking medication, do not use. Because what it does, it's going to absorb the medication and medication won't work. So of course, you know what you need to do if you have to do what you're forced to do. And you didn't want to. Charcoal, 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 charcoal. It absorbs stuff out of your body.
Yeah, and the door stuff.
But yeah, we have to be healthy because this time is no joke. Because we've not seen the start of this yet. Believe me, we've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
And now that the approval has been granted, they say from their mouths that you're going to see a flood of mandates.
Yeah, they already have people going door to door in certain neighborhoods. Not here, but what I've seen, they've got people going door to door asking them,
Yeah,
knocking on the doors, asking them, have you been vaccinated?
yeah. Britain started that from last year. You know, Britain had the military out doing it.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
So it's not new. It's an intimidation tactic. Now, the National Guard has been deployed to some states to help the states for their economy to rebound.
and in Canada,
I'm still trying to figure out what National Guard has to do with the economy, but
right. I think in Australia, they actually have they have a manhunt for a guy who was on the elevator by himself, and apparently he sneezed and didn't cover his mouth, and they have a arrest warrant out for him.
Whoa.
Literally, I guess they got it on. You know, they have the video cameras in the
Video
elevator.
cameras.
He sneezed without covering his mouth, and they have a manhunt for this guy. I'm like, it's not that serious.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy out here.
Let me see if I can.
You should look for it.
so
It's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta find this. That's crazy.
what we're seeing here is the systems that are being employed now. It's gonna turn against normal people.
Yeah.
What we have to be careful of, well, it's not normal people, but Yahuwah's people. What we have to-
Yahuwah, yes.
what we have to be careful of is that we don't get so caught up in who is jabbed or who is not jabbed, and you're isolating and you're treating people in a particular way because guess what? That's the idea of this, to separate you.
Right.
Nothing should be able to separate you from your friend if your friend is your friend, unless that person character changes. It should not be an outside stipulation that cause me to start to look at Stanley funny, or start to look at Sabrina funny, or Chris funny, or Emily. It should not be. We should have to always remember, as Chev and I was talking today, that all of the things that we put in between us and God, if we strip away everything, Torah, everything, at the beginning it was man and God. And that's what Yahuwah wants to bring us back to, Him, with Him. And when we see the people around us, we have to remember that these are people. We cannot love things more than people or institutions, because fear is going to cause us to start to look at people strange.
It'd be just like Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just like Daniel, where the people, the community would start turning on each other and say, "Oh, you over there praying." The mandate was this, just like we saw from, was it Nebuchadnezzar when he made the mandate?
Yeah.
So and it's going to be people turning like, "Oh, you over there doing something you're not supposed to do." It's going to be because that fear factor. We're going to be just turning on each other.
Because understand, the 1% does not have the power to force you to do anything at all.
Right.
What they have to do is use the mass by dividing you by fear so that you turn against each other. So now you become the soldier. And guess what? What is new is that you're now paying for the job. There's a little thing behind that where you cannot legally force someone to take it. So guess what you have to do? When you make it mandatory and you say you can't come to work, and if you don't want to take it, you have a choice. Don't take it, but you have to do a test every 2 weeks. After a while, you're going to say, you know what?
I'm tired of getting
I'm gonna just give it to me.
It's expensive, yeah. So it's a strategy to get you to do it. And in addition, what you're doing is paying to create the structure that is going to enslave you.
I know a job.
Paying for your own slave ship.
Mhm. I know a job. I had a friend that went to a job interview, and he was like, it was going well until the girl said, well, we would like to hire you, but we do have to ask, in order for you to get hired, you have to have been vaccinated twice. He was like, nah. If I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. And
See?
so, it gets to the point where they are doing that things, and they're also going to starting to, certain jobs are penalizing those
Yep.
who had the vaccine. Where I know some jobs that if if my coworker got sick or got COVID, if I was vaccinated, I can come back to work with no problem. That's how much they trust the vaccine. But if I wasn't vaccinated, I had to be out 2 weeks. And so then you have that, they put that fear tactic in you where, okay, well, I don't. And then also, if you already used your PTO time from previous testings and things, you don't get paid.
So it's a whole thing, and it's going somewhere, because what has happened is that for the last 2 years, a whole lot of small business have been out bankrupt. And when you are poor and when you are sick, you cannot fight, you cannot stand up, you cannot resist. And the world has gotten poorer in the last 2 years. So we're at a point now that it's like we're at the mercy. And my issue is, what happens when all of these rights that are stripped away, when we give different purpose for these rights? Because it's easy to say now, she's vaccinated or he's not vaccinated and they're going to spread a virus. What happens when it turns around that, okay, you are worshiping on the Sabbath, so he's a part of the problem?
Yeah,
Because
where's
the
the
stage
stop?
is being set.
Yeah, where's the end? Where does
Where
it
is
stop?
the end? Yeah. Because remember that laws are easy to pass, but takes a very long time, if ever, to be repealed. So when you can be forced to be injected, because remember the laws right now prohibits forceful injection of anyone. That is why the mandates are taking so long to come, because the laws prohibits that. The Geneva Convention prohibits that for any country. But what happens when in emergency now you pass different laws that eclipse those laws? What happens after that?
Yeah, there's no stop.
Because we already cannot even speak about natural treatment for anything.
Yeah, they deem it as they deem it as unfactual. They now have the fact.
There's no proof. There's no proof of the benefits.
Right.
And the question is though, where did they get the stuff they put in whatever they're giving you? Not the no, any medicine. Did they make something new? No. It means you're getting it from the earth. So why everything that I look at in the earth is not proven, but you are still making stuff from the earth? Because you didn't make anything out of air.
Right.
It must mean that you're using something that exists already.
The big difference is I can copyright a formula, but I can't copyright. Yeah, I can patent it, but I can't copyright or patent a plant.
So it's about money. While sugar, I was watching a thing with, I think it was, I don't remember the Adventist pastor name. And he had a group of doctors on the panel. And the doctor was saying that even 1 gram of sugar damages your blood cells.
Yeah, it's like cocaine. Like it does. High levels of sugar acts like a drug. Like it's literally a drug.
Everything that you buy at the supermarket has sugar.
High fructose corn syrup, and it's not even natural sugar.
If you really want to save people's lives, wouldn't you ban these stuff?
Right. Especially now, even now, it's like after everything, what did we learn?
Like, exactly.
It's so frustrating. Out of all the things we've learned, obviously, it's like I don't know. It's just so frustrating. Like, I can't even put it into words.
Because we're not supposed to learn anything.
Right.
We have the discussion about to vax or not to vax. And the more we have that discussion, guess what gets lost? People are now driven into a position where they are seeing either or, and there's no other choice, to or not to. So the natural thing is out the window, because once you discuss this in the public space often enough, the society becomes so polarized that they are not thinking again that, oh wow, we should look at the natural remedies. The only option is to vax or not to vax. That's it. And they're happy for us to have that discussion.
Right.
When you discuss that, then you basically tunnel vision the public into there's only one way. Can you imagine that people have been dying for 2 years, 1.5 years straight while we wait on a vaccine? And all the conditions in our body, there is a natural remedy somewhere in the ground, in the front yard, in your backyard, or somewhere neighbor's yard that would help that. But we have been held hostage while death toll rose exponentially for us to wait on a vaccine. If you really want to save lives, you would have allowed treatments. That's my problem.
Right. I agree.
Hey, Chris, can we pause? We have, looks like Ruth Lynn is on.
Ruth?
Yeah, she's on, and we just want to give our condolences and our wishes and prayers and thoughts with her in this time of loss.
It was hard to find. Brother Chris, I'm on the phone with Connie a minute. That's why I didn't unmute it. We kind of, talking about plans for home.
Ruth,
Yeah.
before you go back to the phone, persons that express a desire to help you. So if you would put your Cash App in the chat.
My Cash App, how does that work?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sean will put hers. Sean will type hers, and then we live like 2 minutes from Ruthlin. So.
Okay. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of that. I really do.
Condolences and prayers to you, Ruth Lynn.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we'll talk tomorrow if you are not out of town.
It's going to be Monday. Monday. I'm flying.
So we'll see you tomorrow then.
Yes. So I'll come by tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had mentioned it earlier, and our prayers are with you as usual. So,
thank you.
Yeah, so.
Oh, and I found the article too, what you were talking about, Chris, about the guy. The reason that they list him as a fugitive, he actually tested positive for COVID, and he was being pretty much a douche by going around into the hotel lobby, intentionally coughing and sneezing in the elevator. So
he needs to be prisoned.
Yeah, he's doing too much. So he's
That's
actually
malicious.
Yeah, he's maliciously walking around. They told him to go quarantine. He went out coughing and sneezing in the actual elevator and moving around. They actually have him on the elevator. So yeah, he's intentionally doing some.
Well, I'm not gonna say he's intentionally coughing, because I don't know that you can stop coughing when it's coming. But he should be quarantined. He should have quarantined himself, because
he's walking around intentionally doing in the process of him being sick.
Yeah, he should have stayed away from the public.
Yeah, so he's violating. So
yeah. I have no sympathy for that.
Yeah.
I think he should be punished for it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's malicious though. That's murder.
Like he's literally on the. They say
attempted murder.
Shows him in the elevator coughing, and he refused to quarantine. And they even offered to put him in isolation for free. So.
Well, if all that happens and he's still he has to take what's coming to him.
Yeah.
And people don't. And the thing about in the public space also is that it is so diabolic sometimes. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it, because once you start to go to the root of the issue. There's a label that says you're anti or you don't believe it exists. And that's the same thing I had to say to my friend. I said, my political friend, I said, it's not that people don't believe it exists. What they have a problem with is how you're bringing it across to them. It's how you're pushing one perspective without pushing the health perspective in terms of treatments. So I said, most people don't believe it doesn't exist. Believe me, I can tell you that. I don't have a friend, I don't know someone who doesn't believe that something is killing people. What people don't believe, though, is that it's occurring naturally, which they themselves agree to anyway. Even in Congress, they're trying to press charges. So the world knows by now. But what happened is that anything that doesn't come with the narrative is put in that box, in that label. So it basically silences the true discussion that needs to be had. Because the truth is, someone needs to be charged for genocide. Or a whole lot of persons needs to be charged for genocide. Because a whole lot of people died and is dying. And if an officer goes out and discharges his weapon in a way, well, in some countries, and someone dies, it's going to be at least manslaughter. So the point I'm making, the true discussions that needs to be had is not being had. It's not whether or not it's real. Look, even if you don't want to do what they say, try keep your immune system high. Try stay away from,
At the least.
At the least, keep your immune system high. Don't pretend it's not there. It's there. It's happening, and it's happening for real. But
can I interject too?
Yes, Larry.
I can say I know it's real. Remember the time I said I was sick? Last time I was on, I was sick with COVID. I didn't realize it, but I did have it. What happened was a job. Somebody from my job contracted it. Actually, his kids came in. He didn't know his kids were sick, and his son came in and just jumping and touching all everything and giving everybody fives, and he didn't know. I mean, he was still little, but he had it. And next thing you know, the father got sick, and then I think a week later I got sick from it. And it took me, even though I pride myself on trying to eat healthy and things of that nature, it took me 7 days to get over it. But
that's quick.
it was really quick.
That's
it was
quick
really
for
quick.
you.
I praise y'all for that too, and I never had where I lost the taste or the smell. I never had my stomach hurting, no headaches, no coughing. It's just when I stood up, I was so weak. I couldn't, it's like I had to run to the couch, to run to the chair, to run to the bathroom, run to the chair, run to the couch, run to the bed. So it was just more or less a real weak sensation that I was having. And I had to drink a lot of water, keep myself hydrated. Pray to Yah and and thank God for a speedy recovery. But I tell you,
You're breaking up, Lawrence.
You're breaking up, Lawrence.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? All right. Yeah, I was like, I praise Yah for a speedy recovery. But it's just a lot of emotions that I have with this, because you see people getting sick and you're seeing people dying, and then you're seeing people intentionally doing stuff. I had a friend of mine at my job. She said a guy came in, started coughing and sneezing and the whole nine, and he said he had COVID too. And he ended up contracting it and giving someone else the COVID, and they had to shut the whole museum down where he worked. So it's just crazy how this stuff is going around.
Yeah, that person like that I do believe needs to be charged with something.
Yeah, if you feel and Chris, I'm coming to you. I see you raise your hand. If you feel you have it, stay away from people. Start to treat yourself, start to drink what you need to drink, start to do what you need to do. But don't go around people. We need to be responsible. And I'm glad you got over, and that was like record time though.
Yeah, 7 days. That was
That's quick.
Yeah, I'm
quick.
glad you're doing
Right.
good now.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Christopher.
I was kind of Chris, you mentioned about people needing.
You're low though, Chris.
Can you hold on? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. You mentioned about certain people responsible with this vaccine need to be held accountable, which I do agree, and conversations that need to be had.
I'm not hearing you.
You can't hear me? Hold on.
It's like you're a little muffled.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay, well,
He's coming back. Something went with it. So we have to be responsible. And we can't wait until we get it to start to eat. And some people say, yes, but he was a vegan and he still died of it. We have to understand that when you're eating healthy, there are certain herbs that are made to treat conditions. It doesn't mean that because you don't eat meat, disease can't kill you. When you get a disease, you need to use the things that is to be that are there to treat it. So we have to be wise when we're looking at this whole thing. And I love sugar. I normally say it. And
Sugar's great.
I used to love sugar. Huh?
Sugar tastes great.
Right.
It's chocolate.
Chocolate.
And guess what I start to do? My wife starts to use less sugar, and I deliberately not go and add sugar. And now when it's sweet, it just turns me off. Anything sweet just starts to turn me off. And I didn't know I could be in this place where I don't want sweet. And believe me, when I tell you sweet, I used to drink stuff sweet that could make 2 of that cup.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So you mentioned that certain conversations that need to be had, which I completely agree with. One of those conversations that I try to get people to realize, and I don't judge anybody that got it. Like I said, at some point you have to, either learn or see it for yourself. But one major issue that I think people, who are either have gotten it or who are on the fence of getting it or not, is the fact that if something goes wrong after you get this vaccine, one reason is all of a sudden all these companies are pushing out vaccines at a fast rate, like every other week or so. It's a new company that has got a vaccine. And then number 2 is if you get the vaccine and say, God forbid, you die or like your health completely declines, you can't sue.
No.
And I could be wrong. There's an act or something that
it's an act. Yeah, you can't sue.
You can't sue them or anything. They're not held liable if something happens to you after you're taking that vaccine. That should be a major red flag for anybody.
Yes. So what I would say is that they can't tell you not to eat healthy in your house. So we have to start telling our friends to start eating healthy, staying away from the mucus causing food, because guess what? The less mucus you have in your body, the less problem you have with a respiratory virus. But if your body was full of mucus from the get-go, then it just become comfortable there with you and live with you. And then you're going to find that your lungs is compromised, all that is happening to you. We have to now start to stay away from the stuff that weakens our body so that our body has enough strength to fight if and when this thing gets to us. But if your body was already weak, you're having a problem. Because once you get on that ward, none of the callaloo, none of the turmeric, none of that, you're not going to be able to get it in that kind of quantity to do any good. I have friends who went to the doctor, was diagnosed. Lawrence knows who I'm talking to. And Stanley was sent home to quarantine. She drank garlic, strong garlic every day and beat it. I have another friend from the get-go, early out. He had it and they did nothing. They just say, go home and wait it out. And he just kept drinking garlic. And when he said that to me, that was many months after the contraction. And he said that to the point that he just drinks garlic every day now.
Yeah, garlic is very powerful. It helps. It's yeah.
My grandmother used to just chew the garlic raw.
Yep, that's right.
My roommate did that.
And eat it.
Yeah.
It burns though.
I can't.
I do a little piece. Don't do it. Yeah, you do a whole clove, your whole body gonna be on fire.
I get nauseous from eating garlic. I can't really eat it too much.
Yeah, you gotta, or if anything, maybe cook it down a little bit. But yeah, my grandparents, that's what I get. So you cut off a small piece of clove and maybe eat it with a cracker or something to cut it. But yeah, it's.
When my blood pressure spikes, I'll just blend maybe 3 pieces of it and just drink it. But believe me, for the next 5 minutes, you're gonna feel like your stomach wants to come out.
Yep, that burning. It's gonna clean it. It's doing something with that.
Yeah, I chew it though. I just pull one and just chew it.
Still
But
burning out.
just drink the water. Lawrence, go ahead.
If you take a little honey with it, it'll come back.
You chopped up. Lawrence, you're cutting out.
You may want to log off and log back. Oh, you were on speaker. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What happens is cut that garlic up and then put a teaspoon of honey in it, and that's how I do it.
Honey.
My roommate, she just took a clove and like ate it because she's not feeling well, and she took a clove, ate it, and then just ate an apple. Well, she was eating an apple at the same time. But yeah,
she's an assassin on the low. Like, you're not supposed to eat a whole clove of garlic by itself and be okay. Yeah, she's an assassin.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
She's an assassin.
Well, that's what some people has a stronger constitution. I used to have a friend who just takes the pepper and just bite it and just eat it like she's eating.
Yeah, my grandfather was like that. I used to like my grandfather's superhero. I was like, you're a superhero. Like he would take the whole clove, half a clove, and split it with my grandma, and they would both eat it. I was like, y'all superheroes.
I bet they never get sick often.
Nah, no. My grandma, thinks she's 85. My grandfather passed. He passed at 83, but he was strong as an ox. Like right before he passed, when I went to go see him, he was on the cane, walking around, still got his mind and everything. And the battery in the truck went out, and so he walks to the truck and starts grabbing the battery and yanking the battery. He's shaking the entire truck. Now, mind you, this is an old truck, still solid joint.
Wow.
He's 83 years old, grabbing the battery. He forgot to take the bolt off to take it out. So he's pulling it. I was like, Gramps, you're going to break your truck. Like, it's bolted. He's standing there yanking, pulling, doing this. The entire truck is doing this. Shaking. Oh, wow. Still strong as ox.
Some youngsters can't even do that at 27.
So I had to, go over there and screw the bolt. Like, Gramps got to get the bolt first. But he yanked, the bolt was loose. He was about to pull the whole thing out.
I think it was a different time too of eating. Back in the days, they really were. I can't say health conscious, but I think the food was.
It is.
Even though, the food was better. It wasn't as much preservatives,
less processing.
And then they had castor oil. I remember my grandmother giving me castor oil. I was like, oh,
that's really good for you. I do that.
But it's disgusting.
But it just tastes nasty. Castor oil. She used to give me
fish oil.
She'd give me
it's like
garlic
burping that stuff for hours.
Like, goodness gracious.
And you just burp it up. Like you could take a teaspoon of it and hours later, you're still burping. Oh God.
So you're familiar with that time.
Absolutely.
And I think we've gotten away from that we've gotten away from those things. We're trying to go to more man-made things and more
Start eating
man-made
too much
chemicals.
cornflakes.
Yeah, exactly. Not getting back to the earth. So I can
And that's
see
the
that
thing.
happening.
When they ate, because of the food they were eating, it's naturally nourishing them. What is happening now? Our food is not nourishing
It's killing us.
us, and then it has sugar in it, so it's killing us actually.
And we get that whole itis when we eat.
Yeah.
and get
Then you want to go to
sleepy.
sleep, and it's just sitting on you, and it's waste. And we get less fiber. Even when I tell people when we look at exercising, everything's protein. Get protein. Get your muscles up. Get buff. Protein. But the thing that's always missed is fiber. So that stuff you're eating is literally just that waste. You're literally full of crap. Like you got 5 to 10 pounds of waste just sitting in your body. And so whether those on the chat or those who are looking at weight loss or things like that, regardless of what you eat and how you eat, the first thing, like Chris said, the first thing you want to give yourself is more digestion time. So it's called intermittent. If you just Google it, intermittent fasting, you pick like an 8-hour window to eat, right? So say like, are you going to eat from 11? Stop eating at 6. Don't eat anything after 6. That rest of that time is digestion time. You're allowing your body to heal itself. So from 11 to 6, say I'm going to eat this, and then you pick reduce your portions, drink a lot of water, and then you get that habit. It's not a diet. Eat your food, but after 6 o'clock or whatever that end of that 8 period, stop eating. And then because you give your time more digestion time, and you allow your body to flush the waste out.
You know what I did last week? I had this big chunk of thyme with orange peel, and I cut up a whole grapefruit, 1.5 grapefruit with skin and everything in it. So it's orange peel, grapefruit, garlic, onion, a little apple cider vinegar. What else? I had a number of other things in it, and I boiled it down and I put honey in it. And every day the kids have to take 1 shot, morning and evening. Everybody in the family.
Making witch's
and it has
brew
a
over there.
harsh ginger in it too.
Come over here and get
And that's crazy that I just made my roommate introduced me to the apple cider vinegar, and I put it with sparkling water, and I put a splash of that. But now I'm gonna add those goodies.
So I just boil it
tonics.
Because when I boil it, it's from I think it was an 8-quart pot, and I boiled it down to like 4 quarts. And then when I'm done, I put all of the the stem and everything of the thyme in my blender, because in my blender will chop those sticks up to nothing.
So
and I blend them out, then strain them, squeeze that out through the strainer.
Wow.
Everything, grapefruit skin and all.
It's like he was like, here, what I got in the refrigerator? Let me get what fruit and veggies I got here. Put it in the pot, see what happens.
It was deliberate though. It was deliberate.
Yeah,
You see that same video I shared?
Yeah, from that guy.
It's cold pressed.
Expensive as that, but it's the one you can do at home from almost anything around you. But it has a whole lot of antiviral stuff, antifungal and anti-inflammatory, because those are the things you need to protect you.
Right.
I'm about to try that.
I have some fresh tomato. I plan to make some homemade salsa. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes in its whole slice, but I love salsa. So I got some fresh tomato, and I'm gonna get some kind of stuff going, and I'm see if I can make me a homemade salsa.
And tomato is good.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, I was looking at recipes for zucchini, and I'll send it in the chat. There's I think it's like a article about it, but there's like, you can make ratatouille. You can make
your own noodles, zucchini noodles.
Yeah, your own noodles. Zoodles.
Yeah, zucchini noodles are expensive. Like you go to Harris Teeter,
buy a spiralizer and get a zucchini.
Right, because you go to Harris Teeter for one, like you try to buy it for a pack, it's like $8. I'm like,
good
Lord. It's expensive.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'll send you guys the picture when I cook it. Also, I'm gonna make lentil soup because lentils are really good. My dad makes lentil soup, and it'll be like I'm at home with him. So Good.
I'm gonna tell you one thing not to do. Don't ever cook it. I didn't know this, and I made a mistake. And don't ask me how I messed up the recipe, but I was making stir fry, and the recipe called for zucchini. I grabbed cucumber. And, I was fine because I was on my vegan. I got to go back on my vegan diet and meal plan again. But last year I was on my vegan diet, so I was kind of accustomed to certain things. But still, I cooked it. I had and I did have shrimp at that time. I didn't know about the dietary law at that time, so I had to text my mom. I said, "Well, do you guys want some stir fry made up from shrimp?" Of course, she's gonna say yes. She loves shrimp, so I packed them to a container each. Went to their house, gave it to them. They loved it. They called me back not even 30 minutes afterwards. They said, "What in the world did you put in that food?" I said, "What are you talking about? Me and your dad are both in separate bathrooms." I said, "Well, I told her what I made, and I got it." She said, "You're not supposed to cook cucumbers." I said, "What are you talking about? That's what it had in the thing in the recipe." She said, "No, zucchini. You don't cook cucumbers." She said, "That's why we're all messed up right now." So
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a thing where you're not supposed to cook cucumber. I didn't know that.
Apparently, it works as a laxative.
Well, I just never cooked it before. We just normally eat it raw, but
yeah, apparently it works as a laxative, and I did not know.
I did not know that. I didn't know that.
When I went back to the recipe, of course, it said zucchini and not cucumber. But I said, well, at least I know it works as a laxative.
That's something I learned today. I did not know that. I did not know.
I mean, that helps.
A natural cleanse.
Right, a natural cleanse.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, we are both in the bathroom, tore up. His stomach, my stomach bubbling. Something's not right. What did you put in there?
That's my first time hearing that. Yeah, that's new to me.
But
I'm not a fan of cucumber. I don't really. I eat cucumber and like vegetable, like if it's mixing like an egg roll or something like that. But just walking, just like let me get the cucumber. No, get that.
Does anyone here know where you get like real sea salt, not the processed one?
I use Himalayan salt.
Pink salt. So do I. I love Himalayan salt.
I do the Himalayan.
You know what? We tried that, but I'm realizing that wasn't real. The pink salt.
Yes.
We got a thing of it, and what I realized that when you start, for instance, because how I cook, I would put the seasoning and season the seasoning before I even. For instance,
season the seasoning.
Yeah, everything is cooked. You could eat it by itself without even the cabbage or anything in it.
Oh wow!
So everything is in it, pepper, salt, everything, and that is being salted. What I realize is that the pink is forming a little layer in the pot. So I realize that the pink is being separated from the salt. So I realize it's a fraud.
Oh, snap.
I'm afraid of my
say it's not so.
So what kind of salt do you use?
Let me see if I can show you.
I use the Himalayan salt, but I'm trying to get sea salt. Real sea salt, and how you know it's real, from what I've read, is when you put it on your tongue, it should feel cold.
Oh.
If it doesn't feel cold, it's not real.
I had sea salt, and then I went to the pink Himalayan recently.
Yeah. This is the one I use. I'm not sure. I guess now I have
the one I have is
yeah, we can try it.
Form. Right. I have the fine one, but I've seen that one too.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Pink sea salt. Don't say that. Let's see, pink.
And see, Brother Stanley is looking it up.
Right.
When I was smaller, when we were living in Jamaica, there was this guy who owned a truck. He used to bring tons of sea salt. You could see the brown from the sea on it.
Oh, wow.
The raw, natural thing. And now I wish so much I could see him again. He's dead long ago, or see someone that has it.
Okay, this is what it is. What they're saying is iron oxide. So it's pretty much because it says Himalayan salt is mined in Pakistan. It comes from the Kura salt mine, the second largest salt mine in the world. Himalayan salt often contains trace amounts of iron oxide rust, which give it its pink color. So that's what it's the rust. It's the iron oxide from.
Am I supposed to be eating that?
Iron oxide?
You know what? I need sea salt.
Mine didn't have it. It said it doesn't contain it. So I'm not sure if does that mean does it not real pink sea salt or
I don't know, but I saw a film in the pot and I said, something's wrong here.
It's the iron oxide.
That's how I stopped using even margarine, because when I would melt it in the pot, it would just make like a flake. And I used to wonder why, until I went and read and saw that margarine is one molecule away from being plastic.
You can get Country Crock has a plant-based butter. I use that.
They do? Because I stopped using them because their margarine was.
Yeah, I have let me show you guys. I have a plant-based butter. Because once I started learning about what butter is, rice and all that stuff, I started using brown rice more. And I had to look at butter because, of course, I love cream of wheat and oatmeal. So this is what I use for, this is a Country Crock.
Oh, I've never seen that one, no. We buy the big tub, used to, until I realized it was plastic.
Yeah, that's the one I use.
Then I just stopped buying it.
Yep, I use that one. And then I also, instead of white sugar, of course, I use brown cane sugar or dark brown cane sugar.
Yeah, I never use white sugar at all, ever.
Yep.
We don't buy it. None.
Wow.
That's weird that your salt says that. Mine just says Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah, but that's where it comes from. It's again, it goes about what we were talking about earlier, how the FDA and these things say, oh, it's bad for you, but in this small amount, it's good for you. So iron oxide normally is not good to be ingested, but then it's used as a coloring for food, and they say small trace amounts are okay.
Yeah, but when you eat a whole lot of those stuff over time, what happened?
Right, it's sitting. It can
sit. It's safe. It's one container.
Right, it can sit it can literally sit in your internal organs if it retains iron. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, probably maybe not.
I want sea salt.
He said, "I want what I want."
Being Iron Man.
Oh man!
I think I'm gonna stick to looking for the sea salt.
But isn't that weird though? How they do that? They'll say, "Oh, it's good," but then if you use, it's not. They'll say it's bad for you, but it's okay if you use it in small amounts.
Small amounts. Because it gives a natural red color, so it's used in food.
Yeah.
Well, that's so they can sell it. That's all that is. It's okay for you using small amounts, but don't use a lot, so we can get this dollar. That's what it is.
That's crazy. Well, I guess because I got a big old thing. I have kosher. So it's the joke is that we have so many different types of seasonings. So I got Himalayan salt. I have kosher salt. So. And then I have regular sea salt, and so, but I have a big thing of the Himalayan and the kosher. So,
and the ionized salt, the regular one on the shelf, and maybe I'm not sure about the Himalayan, but the sea salt is what your body needs. Your body needs salt,
Yeah, your body that's natural.
What it doesn't need is these processed salt. That's the one that spike your blood pressure and give you all kind of problems. The sea salt doesn't do that.
Well, I guess I'll have to discard that Himalayan.
The guy says
that mine is the real one. I'm not sure. I'm still questioning that, but it says it doesn't contain iodine oxide, which is it said it's a supply. It doesn't contain a supply of iodine oxide.
Supply of.
Yes, that means it doesn't have. It's not.
They don't add it. It doesn't. It was mined with it.
It's mined with it.
You have to be careful of terms that they're using.
Yeah.
When you see marketing people, they're going to tell you something it doesn't contain a supply of.
Yeah.
The trick there is supply of.
They didn't add it. Yeah, they didn't add it.
But it's there.
It doesn't mean it wasn't mined with it in it.
Yeah, going it now. I gotta discard it. Man, okay.
Being from broadcast, I can tell you that marketers are going to phrase it a particular way to get you to buy it.
I've been duped. And I've been happy too. When I'm cooking, I'm just, I'm good. I got the right salt.
Try to find the sea salt. And as Herbalist says, when you put it on your tongue, it should feel cold.
Okay.
And I've never tried it other than when I was young, but I didn't have enough sense to think about that.
I even learned that with like even just regular seasonings. How like I've seen videos where you can test on make sure you got the right seasoning. But even things like I like lemon. Like when I cook chicken, sometimes I like cooking like lemon pepper wings. And so like when I went to Food Lion, and a lot of the lemon pepper seasonings had a lot of the iodine oxide. They had sodium glutamate, something like that, like other just different chemicals that I know don't go with that type
And
of
the
seasoning.
MSG, you need to stay away
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah,
And
MSG.
so
Yeah.
the one I found, I think it was Kingsford, and they had the actual natural, I won't say natural, but they had the right lemon pepper seasoning. And it just shows like it's hard to, it can be kind of hard to find the right or real thing because it's so
I'm
hidden.
going to tell you something. If you have garlic, thyme, onion, pepper, and anything else, if you know how to prepare them and saute that seasoning before you put the food in it, you'll never miss powdered seasoning. I can tell you that. And you have some pepper, like there's a pepper called, I think, chocolate pepper. It's a deep brown pepper. You get it at the farmer's market. I've never seen it in the store.
Okay.
When you use that, the flavor that you get in your food, you'll never know that you don't use powdered seasoning.
I normally saute with onions and garlic depending on what I'm cooking, but I might have to try that.
Yep. You will never miss them. And guess what? Stuff like oregano from your garden, you can plant that. That's easy to grow.
Yeah, I need to get I have some planters boxes. I need to put get some herbs in there. I was trying to do mint, but I gotta find some mint. My plan is to do mint.
We
oregano.
have some mint.
Yeah, so I want to do oregano, mint, parsley. I want to do aloe vera too. So I want to do 4. I want to do some aloe.
So, believe I don't cook with powdered seasoning at all.
Oh yeah, we got our season. We got about 50 seasons in that cabinet.
every product has like 50 different seasons.
It's not that I don't eat the food if it's in it, but when I'm personally cooking, I don't use it.
Right.
And that's why I tell you I season my seasoning, because there's a touch you have to put to it to get that flavor. And you'll
it's about like you doing like the real cooking though.
Yeah.
Like
when you're from Jamaica, you have to do real cooking. When I was growing up, nothing come ready-made.
Another thing I would suggest everybody get at least one cast iron skillet, like those old cast iron, because it naturally infuses your food with iron, the right iron, not iron oxide. It naturally infuses your food with iron. So,
I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, get one. I actually bought. We have 2. I bought a regular one and I bought a wok. I bought a authentic Japanese cooking wok for Lisa for her birthday, because she was one. It's a big one. It's the big, nice one.
I got one of those.
Good real one, and it's that cast iron, and it's heavy. Got some weight on it. If it falls on your foot, it's gonna break it.
Oh well.
But it's and you got to grease it and everything. Make sure you got to put old school. Got to grease the bottom and everything. So, but yeah, it naturally infuses your food with iron.
Yeah, and I heard that was important because
we need iron. So
yeah, we definitely need it.
It's the odd thing that iron oxide, the rust, is not what we need, but we do need iron.
Right. Yeah, and they did a study actually on that. It said one of the reasons why our body is lacking that is because we've gotten away from iron products, and those things in that nature. And he says, so I definitely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I've got to invest in a good one.
Yeah, that's it. And they're not expensive, and because, back then it goes back to what they did, what your comment was earlier, that the elders back then, they didn't have stainless steel. Stainless steel really wasn't the thing. They had cast iron. It was either some kind of cast iron. They had multiple cast iron pots. Now everything's stainless steel with that DuPont stainless, that coating on it. We're literally eating that coating. That stuff peels off.
And actually, that stuff I heard is really bad for you too when you're cooking with it.
It's
and actually, I mean, you got to think about it. It's the elements, because the iron, and then they cooked a lot of times on wood. You know what I'm saying?
Wood,
so that
right?
I was going to say, Lawrence.
Yep, wood is a natural element. So, that's why they're I guess their bones, and they lived a long time. I'd be like, how's the older people living longer than the younger people were just dying off all of a sudden? That had a lot to do with that iron and earth, getting back to the earth, like you said, Chris, earlier. We have to get back to the earth.
Yep. When I was younger, everything, you could taste the food that was cooked on the wood fire. Different.
Yes. That taste.
Different. And you learn to cook on wood fire. You learn how to turn down your wood fire.
Yeah. That's why, I have a gas
some of the youngsters are wondering what I'm talking about.
And that's the thing, even with grills, gas grill, like, of course with gas grill, I bought I have I'm trying to get my grill master on, but eventually I want to get rid of the gas grill and go back to charcoal.
Charcoal. Because guess what? Anything you use to cook your food, a part of that is in your food.
Yeah, that gas is going into the food.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the wood fire. I was blessed every summer. My parents, they sent me and my cousins to Trinidad in the summer. So we, saw all of this. My great grandmother.
That's what it is. You get a cheat. That's a cheat code.
Yeah. So I know about the wood fire and all of that.
I love the smell of charcoal. I don't see I've witnessed gas grilling, but just that charcoal smell when you're grilling is, I don't know. It's the best.
You put the wood chips on it. Yeah, I'm gonna level up. I'm just trying to level up to get because of course stuff like that, you got to know your temperatures, and it's got to be, it's not as precise as gas. You can manipulate how you want, but eventually my plan is to get rid of the gas and get a coal and to put the wood and get back to that.
Ever since I came here to live, I've been saying I'm going to make a 2-burner coal stove.
Yeah, my uncle
the last time we had a storm, when everything was out, I went for a rim in the back of the yard, put it up on top of a stuff, and we were cooking. There was no light, no anything. Yeah. We were still cooking, because guess what? That's what we used to do.
When we have a fireplace, that's how I look at it. If we have an ice and we have a fireplace, I'll go right to it. We have a fire pit. I'm gonna figure it out. We gonna eat.
And that's why you need to ask yourself: if things shut down tomorrow, will you be able to eat?
Yeah. I actually just started.
Nothing else. Just ask yourself: will you be able to eat or drink water?
Right.
Not even drinks, water.
Water.
Because if you notice that we've become so dependent on manufacturers that even our water, we cannot get water without manufacturers.
Yeah.
That's a terrible state to live in.
Like even, it's illegal. You can't even, I know, like you only can have a certain amount of water. Like if you were to be found with like holding water, or something like that, it's like you can get fined in certain districts.
Collecting rainwater.
Yeah.
Which I plan on
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a thing.
Certain places it's illegal to collect rainwater.
Yep.
Which is the most retarded thing I think in the world. But I know a few people that have shown me some gardening things they collected for their plants. I actually just started. I have a back patio, so I can't do it on a wide scale. But I just started growing watermelon a little bit and red peppers as a starter. But I'm looking to start doing a lot more. I know it's gonna take a lot of patience and a lot of my time from things I normally do to actually do more studies on it. But for that very reason is if things shut down, like I know I can survive off of fruit and vegetables. I've done it before.
Chris,
so yeah.
Once you start to grow them, all you need to do is water them in the morning and evening. The hardest part is to get the soil to actually produce.
Okay.
Which is where you're going to have to buy soil, and then afterward, just learn how to make your own compost, and you start to enrich the soil.
Yeah.
Carver, he taught, the world how to plant peas in the soil to nourish the soil before you plant another crop.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like I saw videos, they actually said to get it ready It's like your dishwater. Like, so if you wash dishes, all the particles, pour that over your soil, and that rotting food eventually it'll draw worms and earthworms, and they'll get it right for you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that. I know one of my parents' neighbors, he has a it's some sort of rolling bin, but he puts like, you know, old fruit and stuff in there. And he told me to keep it out in the sun every so often, and it decomposes itself into compost, and you can use that for
a whole lot of worms in it, right?
Yeah.
Look, I put some stuff, because everything we use in terms of fruits or vegetable, they don't go in the trash. They go into a container, then we dump it on the compost heap in the back, and I covered it with a cardboard. And after a couple of days, maybe a week, I went and lifted the cardboard, maybe about 4,000 worms. And I just turn it over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And that's how you know your soil is right. Like, even in my backyard, I haven't done anything with it but just cut the grass, and you can just go and just dig your hand in it and pull it up, and it's just full of worms. And they good, long, healthy looking. So, but yeah,
and you said that's good for your soil.
Yeah, the only thing I have, main reason I haven't started back there, because we're on the back of an easement, and there's deer back there. There's a lot of, it's like nature back there. So
they'll come and eat all that up.
Yeah, tear it up. So I want to at least try to get a fence or something back in my backyard first. Yeah, it's like literally. Matter of fact, I took a picture. There was deer in my front yard yesterday. Like, they were in the front yard. The mother deer and two babies was in the front yard eating. So yeah, they'll run through that. So I got to get a fence.
Or matter of fact, what you can get, they have I don't know how effective it is. I get it from my grandmother because she has cats sometimes, but they have like a garlic spray, and apparently whatever they mix it with, the animals don't like it, and it doesn't harm them. It just repels them away, and they can't stand the smell.
Do you know if that works for squirrels?
I think it does. They have one that's all purpose.
Man, squirrels are thugs. They don't care.
Squirrels out here this year have been
aggressive.
Savages. They've eaten all of my tomatoes.
Yeah.
I have a fig tree.
If you spray it around
it, they ate. I mean, we were fighting this year.
Yeah, where we at, they're aggressive. Like, even the acorns. Like, I was getting out the car and one rolled up on me. Like, I'm getting out the car. He had, like, it was a pile of acorns. I guess he put the pile near the car where I parked, and I didn't see it. I pull up, the squirrel like runs toward me, like, wait, don't hit my
Hey, what's up, partner? What you doing?
They're really bold this year. I don't know what's going on with them. They never ate my garden, my stuff in my garden before like this.
My friend sits on his back porch with his rifle, waiting on the squirrels.
Man,
the only thing I would say is when you get it, be careful with it, because it's very strong. So don't forget that if you leave it in your car, that's gonna be a bad morning for you, because your car will smell like straight garlic. Because I had it in my trunk once, I'm like, what is that smell? And I forgot I had it in my trunk. I had to take it out. So if you put it anywhere, just put it anywhere you don't mind it kind of smell like garlic.
Yeah, and
but
you can use
strong.
Any kind of like mint,
Yeah,
those strong spots.
I know mint is good. I thought mint. Well, I read mint is good for insects. I don't know about it.
Okay.
So if you mix a lot of those stuff together, they have one on the market with a whole lot of mixture. But if you have the spice yourself, strong ones, and basically put them in warm water, draw so that it gets out the fragrance, garlic and everything, put in a spray bottle, they're gonna keep away. Because they don't like that.
I heard cinnamon is also good for things like if you have like ants or whatever.
I didn't know.
Cinnamon.
I know cinnamon's good for me.
Right. I like cinnamon. Right. I like cinnamon.
I heard cinnamon is good for things like ants.
There are natural ways to repel insect, and so you wonder why they keep selling a poison.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that these companies keep getting lawsuits, especially the one, off the pesticides and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's going on with them?
Oh yeah, they keep getting lawsuits for giving people cancer.
I know Roundup did that.
Yeah,
Roundup had a guy that he was using it and ended up giving him a real bad skin cancer. I don't know if he's still alive, but he won a lawsuit.
It's a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot of people that stuff is.
The
And it's
question is, why are we afraid to see grass or bush grow? Most
I
of the
saw a
times, the
video
things
about
you're
that.
killing are actually good for you anyway.
yeah, it's manicured lawns and all that. I don't use it. I just cut my grass. I'm not
You know
that
what we need to
person.
do? We need to start planting fruits in the front of our yard.
Yeah, my cousin
So
was because
true.
my younger cousin, my aunt makes him cut the grass, and he was asking her, why do people even have grass? Like, what is the point of going out here every week and cutting the grass?
I guess because they don't want it in a weird way. I guess they don't want it to like get too big to where it's like a whole bunch of I guess critters and stuff outside. But it
Guess
does
what?
make sense why we.
In Jamaica, we have fruit trees everywhere. Hardly, well, you have people who have grass, but in the countryside, people don't plant grass; they plant fruit trees.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
when we went to Jamaica. That's all I saw. Like, oh man, I just want to get out here and just grab some. You can really have a meal. Just get out, walk out your car, and just like, you just grab this, and
Yep.
That would be such a blessing if I had a house and just had like fruit trees in my backyard.
Yeah. Well, start to plant them.
yeah, I
Right.
think I might have to
Yeah.
plant some because I know my neighbor has figs. He has figs and something else in his yard.
How do those taste? I saw that at a farmer's market.
I like
Figs.
fig Newtons. I don't like fig the fruit by itself. I don't like the fig by itself, but I like fig Newtons.
I was gonna get them, but then saw a video that was like sometimes it decomposes them, but you can have like dead wasps in the figs. I guess because it gets trapped in there.
Look
But
here.
the way it works, it decomposes them.
If you come from Jamaica and eat mangoes a lot, you're gonna find that you eat worms a whole lot.
Oh wow. I don't need that information.
Look,
That's what my
What?
dad
What?
says. He says if there's a fly on his food that he's gonna keep eating, and that the
no,
fly can just eat along with him.
no.
Extra fiber. That's what they said. Extra
Yeah, you
fiber.
stay on that end of the apple, and I stay on this end, buddy.
No, I'm not gonna eat the fly, but guess what? In Jamaica, the worm will go in the mango. And when you go like mango bush,
Mhm.
you're just eating mango, you're not really looking. Worse if it's evening time, night. You just feel something funny or taste funny and look. You see the dark spot, I haven't eaten mango when I stopped and looked, there's a dark spot. I know that the nest was there.
Mm.
Gone.
Mm.
I know I just ate it.
Oh man. Yeah, and see, knowing that is like it's natural. Cause my parents' neighbor, he says that like his wife will see it and throw it away, but he's like it's still good even though it has that spot in there.
You cut it out. If you
Yeah,
see it,
just
just cut it out and eat the mango. It's
Yeah.
good. Because guess what? If the mango is good, they're gonna eat it. If it's not good, they're not gonna eat it. And I tell my wife all the time, if the insect will eat my plant, I'm okay to eat it. If they won't eat it, then I shouldn't be eating it.
You got a problem.
Because you notice that insect don't eat your white sugar and stuff like that.
Right. They go for the
Okay.
good stuff.
Right. So you need to take a cue from them. If they won't eat it, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
You'll see them work right past. Nah, we don't want that. Go to the other stuff. What else you got in here?
But I mean, it's been a good discussion.
This is pretty open-ended, just random
Put
conversation.
it in there.
I think this was needed though.
Let me put
Especially like
Yeah, it's refreshing.
I'm gonna put the number in the chat. Why never just give me the handle for the? All right, I'm gonna put the number
Okay.
for the Cash App, and then I'm gonna put the Cash App handle.
What's the number?
Because this is being recorded and will be played out everywhere.
No, I know you're putting it in the chat. I'm saying, do we call before we send, or we could just send the cash app?
Because sometimes it doesn't allow you to send unless the number is saved in your phone.
Oh, I see.
Contact. And that's Sean's. That's ours.
We don't even have to remember numbers like we used to.
Yeah. I'm coming.
That's crazy. My cousin doesn't even know his zip code because I was trying to help
Oh
him
man.
book an Uber because I was visiting Connecticut last week and I was trying to help him book an Uber and I was like, "What's the zip code so I can put in your mom's card information?" And he was like, "I don't know."
You just give
When
me
when I was younger,
they're
my
like,
dad made sure we knew his number, my mom's number. We
Yeah.
had to know our own number. We
It was
had to know
3
our
numbers you knew.
address.
Yep. All
Yeah.
that stuff.
my mom used to have me, my brother recite her number verbatim when she first started leaving us in the house. When we got old enough to, and she would go to work and she would look, you guys need to know my number. What's my number? And she would just sporadically ask any other day, what's my number? We'll tell her. All right.
Right.
So we had to remember her number, my dad's number, and I think it was my grandmother's number. Those 3 numbers we had to remember.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's always at least 3 numbers you would have to know at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I shall say.
I don't see it in the chat, Brother
You don't
Chris.
see it?
Nah, did you?
No.
Did I put it to everyone? Oh, look like I sent it to Sabrina direct. Okay. Let me try.
I do that all the time. I accidentally direct message people, and I'm like, please.
Let me copy that and put it to everyone. All right. Because I don't look where it's going. I'm just assuming.
It's
Me too.
everywhere.
Should be there now.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even look where it was going. So Sabrina is still on? Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're still here. You know, I sent it directly to you. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I thought you like directly message it to everybody.
Oh,
No.
no. That was a mistake. All right, so.
Did you want me to put that in? Well, did you want me to put that in the Discord or?
You can.
What do we need to put? I guess in the 4 section.
Don't say anything. Sorry, go ahead.
What do we need to put in for the 4 section so they know what it's for? So they don't know it's just getting random.
Ruthlin.
Okay.
Ruthlin. What would you call? I'm gonna put. That's her name.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's not mandatory, guys. So if you feel like doing it, then it's up to you, but it's not mandatory. And Stanley, when you put it in if you put it in the Discord, those who know, and I don't know how to put it, but just let Yahuwah lead you. Because what I run from, which I'm going to discuss one week, I'm going to discuss the topic of tithing, because a lot of people misunderstand it. But I've not discussed it because I don't want people to think I'm in no position to collect anything tithe from anyone, because I don't know that I'm a Levite. But just to say that. But we're going to discuss it because some institutions kind of put you in a position that if you don't give it to them,
you're not going to be blessed.
You're not going to be blessed. And
you'll be cursed if you don't do it.
You'd be surprised as to what the Bible teaches on that. So one day we're going to do that. I'm looking at a thing, Stanley, the new Colossus. Stanley and everyone, not just Stanley, because Stanley and I talk so much. The new Colossus, looking at comparing America and Rome and where the Colossus of Rhodes come from, which is what the Statue of Liberty is made from. It's actually called the New Colossus, the Statue of Liberty. It's written on the base of it. So we're going to dig into the background of that and prophecy and what it says, what it means, and what we're seeing. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It was a good discussion. I enjoyed myself.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Hold on, Chris. Before you drop off, I'm gonna send you what I just to make sure if you're all comfortable what I'm writing.
No, whatever,
Okay.
however Yahuwah leads you, that's okay.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
just saying, for me, I stay far from the idea of people. Even when I used to preach on buses, surprise, on the public transportation, I would never collect $1 because I don't want people to think I'm selling the gospel.
No, right.
So maybe that is coming from my resentment of how people treat the gospel,
Right.
selling it.
Right. Yeah, it's packaged as a sale.
Yeah, so maybe that's that, but we do understand that it's a worthy cause. We do understand, and I'm in no way saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying that we should do it on our own volition.
Whenever we're led to.
Sorry?
So whenever we're led to.
Right. And a whole nother thing, the tithe still belongs to Yah. But how you treat that, or the offering, still belongs to Yah. But how you treat that, we're gonna, maybe we should do it next week.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yahuwah and finances.
Always a good topic. Always a good topic.
Yeah. we're gonna do that next week. All right. So shalom everyone.
Shalom.
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 Yashakai. Wow. Wow.
I mean, I've been here, hold on. Yeah, I've been here, I've been the work rounds have been a bit more hectic than usual. So I've been leaving work on like a Friday evening, like the latest 8 o'clock, which is unusual. But it's with like a moving company. So like typically we handle moves. So being like an account manager some of the times, getting to all my follow-ups. In order not to have to deal with the excess work, the next day I go in, sometimes I have to spend the additional time to clear my desk. It gets pretty hectic, like this time of year, I guess. It's like feet moving. But yeah, I've been here, I've been tuning in, I've been listening to the conversation. Funny enough, it's one of those days where everything basically that I was hearing aligns with, personal experience. The Himalayan pink salt, the garlic, I eat whole garlic close to all of that. So I'm just a tech team, enjoy the conversation,
Yeah, you need to come blow the shofar, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I have to admit too, like I have been mindful of the fact that I haven't been very forthright and present. Like I've been taking a bit of time to recoup mentally and spiritually. A couple personal battles. But yeah, mindful of it, and might come back strong.
Our prayers are with you, brother.
All right, and thanks for the shout.
Cool, yeah.
All right.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.